So it's on.
Do we need to write it down?
Yeah, you write down to discuss the episode, and you write down farther ideas. So,
I think we go from beginning to end. We look at this guy, and he made the point in his podcast in the last, 30 seconds of video that basically summed up the entire episode. Sometimes you just kind of man up. And in this case, it wasn't necessarily Mark. It wasn't necessarily Mark going to take care of this possum. It was dealing with something else that had been bothering him. The thing that had really been bothering him the whole time. I don't really have much more to mention than that, but it was something that tied the beginning and end of the episode together. I think that's more or less the point he was making.
Yeah, I think the kid that he was with was very much like him, and I feel like that was a big part of it because he got to understand how it felt in someone else's life and see what it was like to not have a man around.
He had that outside eye almost of, what his own life looked like, and it more or less motivated him to sit down and go, wow, I am kind of just, withdrawing in this little ball.
Yeah. And then I think that bird feeder at the end was his manliness. He understood now, this is me, and it's not because it was all prettied up. It wasn't just a bird feeder. It was a prettied up bird feeder. I think it was his manliness with the girl on the outside, like he was saying in the episode. I think it was a big symbol of that. And then when he said now birds come on, I think it was his childish coming out of that too. So he's not the male you see, but he is
a little bit. But even when he was talking to the kid about, my father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law used to have one of these. It's almost at that point that he kind of said, look, I didn't really have a good, masculine figure in my life except for this guy. So it's a bit more, he was paying tribute to that, but we can't remove the whole, well, I've finally, made my decision to be a man, and I want my gratification already.
Yeah, exactly. It's come on, birds. It's I want to know there are going to be birds here, and that I didn't mess this up.
Yeah.
That I'm doing the first masculine thing in my life, and it's going to work out.
A bit of an affirmation.
Yeah, exactly.
That decision almost.
The bird feeder could also be his kind of memorization thing for the father, his father figure.
Yeah, it's a moment.
Well, yeah, I think it's his father.
It's his way to show how he screwed up and to always have that memory there.
Yeah, I think his father-in-law was a main part of the man in his life. And like Mitchell said, the father was kind of that was the symbol of his father figure.
It was because he said his dad was never there to show him anything. But then there was this one man who was, and who treated him like family. And he felt like he'd kind of let him down by not becoming a little more masculine in the way he acted, becoming a little more like this person who was a good example in his life.
Well, that and the fact that, coming back to the fact that I guess he was mean to his then wife or something.
Yeah, apparently the split was caused from him not treating her well.
Okay, I would like to see the fact.
It was a little more the guilt that he let his father-in-law down as opposed to letting her down.
And especially that this is the first. Yeah, it's whatever. This is the first masculine figure. It's so hard. This is the first masculine figure in his life, and he has messed up that relationship. So there's definitely that I'm a failure, especially when it comes to masculine things.
So yeah, that bird feeder was the affirmation, I did something as a man. That's so close.
It was his best try.
It was his best try to be oh man, that bird feeder was, because it was the guy who taught him everything.
It's still with that bird feeder.
still showed that the little girl that was inside of him, the innocence and the ignorance, like he sat down and was like, "Birds, come to me." And that's not how it works.
There's definitely that element of girliness to it.
Well, especially because like the bird feeder, it's like you can tell it's kind of prettied up at the top.
It's a hummingbird feeder.
Well, I know,
It's
but
like flowers and whatnot.
You know,
Okay, I think we can get off the
sugar
bird
water.
feeder for a second here.
But like, it's really emotional.
It's a really emotional man.
Yeah, I think that, like you were saying before, how Mark and Kyle are like super relatable characters. It's like masculinity is obviously the biggest theme of the episode. It's like both of them feel like they struggle with masculinity for separate reasons. So it was like, I don't know, it was like when they met and they, started hanging out and they went to the store and doing all this shit together. It's like, it really felt like there's a connection between those two characters, like, because they go through like similar struggles. It's like they can understand each other very well.
So, okay, we've covered the bit of masculinity with father-in-law. We've covered the bird feeder. I have a comment to make about camera angles. That was something I really noticed. With a lot of shows like this, they're, comedian shows that they kind of just turned into something that's supposed to emulate real life. Yeah. The camera angles. You get really close, really dynamic camera angles. It's moving, it's shaking a little bit, it walks around, it follows the guy. It's intended to make you almost feel like you're the camera. You're sitting there watching everything unfold. Sometimes, you take a step back to get a little bit broader look at everything.
And, it's the same kind of thing like The Office did.
The Office was the mockumentary.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different from The Office.
Yeah.
But that is a point that's good to make.
But like,
Also, like Secret Girlfriend. Have you ever watched that? Where
No.
The guy never says anything, but he's sitting there and he you're the guy. You're in the TV show. Like people talk to the camera like, "Hey, why don't you come over here?" The camera starts walking.
No, that's fourth wall breaks and asides. That doesn't really occur in this episode.
like the song really got to me when he was crawling into the crawl space, like the daring song.
Yeah.
And then right when the gardener came up and he started coming out, it reversed. If you couldn't tell, that song was in reverse. Like he was going into danger, and then all of a sudden, like he was coming out.
He finally gotten himself psyched up, and then there was an easy out.
And there was an easy out, and that song was like dropped off a cliff. Like it was like he had to go in reverse, and it made the episode like show.
Even though he was so close to doing it, he just didn't follow through.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, somebody here is to save me, so I'm just gonna quit trying and let him do it for me."
Well, and then there's another point to be made about the sudden motivation that came out of things. So like, wow, these are only $28. Wow, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And I'm pretty sure everybody's had a moment like that where it's all of a sudden there's this massive flood of motivation and then it just evaporates.
Yeah, it's just
Okay, I just feel like that's the typical man if you bring him to any freaking store. I mean, seriously.
I've done that numerous
If you,
times.
like, seriously, if you bring some of them to a car store, they're going to be like, oh, look at this car has this and this and this. And if you take some to a hardware store, it's like, oh, geez, I'm just going to leave.
Well, okay, let's take a woman out shopping for clothes or whatever. I don't know.
actually don't
A
do that
knick-knack shop. Well, we can make it. Everybody can
I don't
argue
like
that
spending
they're
money.
Everybody can argue that they're acceptable, but there is something that gets you that excited to that.
Walmart.
No.
My point that I'm making
Stabby
My point that I'm making is everybody gets motivation to do a project, whatever it is, at some point. And it's a moment like this where I think the point they were making with that is you need the motivation to come before the project.
Yeah. And
Well, like his motivation came from a different place than Luke Kyle's, because his motivation came from his real dad leaving and not talking, like doing any of this stuff with him, and that's where his motivation came from. But Kyle's motivation came from that scene where he was playing with another boy, and I think that's like completely like why in the store they had, like, he was talking about that scene. He's like, can we get back to shopping now? Like that sentimental feeling, like, wasn't what he wanted from this.
And something that I think could be said about that is your motivation when it comes to any aspect of your life needs to come from something that's a little more than, wow, this is cool.
And also, like, you kind of have to not think about doing some things whenever you're going to do it. Because when they're standing there trying to hype themselves up, going into the crawl space to grab the dead possum,
The overthinking.
I've done that many times, like cliff jumping. Like, you stand there, like, if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, you're going to not do it.
That was the moment. That was the moment that you had to just man up and do it.
Yeah.
You know, he talks about that last moment in the last, 30 seconds of film. He talks about there comes a time when you got to just man up and do it.
Even though he didn't.
You know, he was sitting there. Well, think about it. They were in the hardware store
I know, but he
talking about, well, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. The only thing he ever actually did was buy the bird feeder and actually put the bird feeder up. That was his one, other than going to see his father-in-law, that was the one man up and do it moment in the entire episode.
Like, that's showing something that, like, he did man up, but not in the way we expected. We expected him to put up the bird feeder, but we also, like, when he got into that tunnel, I expected him to kind of go in and get it, and then the garden again. So, like, another easy out. Like, he could have manned up again. So, well, and
So we're down to 5 minutes, so if you could end your video.
make sure he got on there.
Get everybody's face in it.
One more time. We're done.
The final
Wait,
part.
oh.